The Christmas story, if you haven't noticed, takes place in the dark. Mary and Joseph got to Bethlehem at night. Jesus was born at night. The wise men journeyed by night and followed the star. The angels appeared to the shepherds at night. And many of the classic Christmas songs that we know and hear and love talk about the darkness. Silent night, O holy night, it came upon a midnight clear. I saw Mommy kissing Santa Claus. They all happened that night. A mother was cooking. She said to her son, "Get me a can of tomatoes out of the pantry." The boy said, "It's dark in there, Mom." Mom said, "Don't worry, Jesus will be with you in there." Reluctantly, the boy went to the pantry, opened the big door, peered in the darkness and said, "Jesus, if you're in there, give me a can of tomatoes, will you?" Just hand it out to the door. Jesus is in there, in the darkness. Jesus is born in the deepest darkness, in the middle of the night, at the winter solstice, which to the pagans was a celebration of new birth, the birth of the sun, and brighter days to follow. Some Bible scholars think Jesus was born in the summer, because the shepherds were living in their fields watching their flocks at night, wearing Hawaiian shirts and Bermuda shorts. In the 4th century, a very smart pope named Julius made the decision to place Jesus' birth on December 25th at the same time as the winter solstice, at the darkest time on earth. Do you have an image in your head of that first Christmas 2,000 years ago? What kind of night it was? How the star looked? Was Jesus born in a cave, or was he born in a barn, or somewhere else at some other time? What is your image? Or perhaps more importantly, what did it sound like? About that, the Bible is clear. It was quiet. Christmas morning was peaceful and quiet and still. And those who visited the baby had an easy time of keeping their focus upon the Christ child, because God's greatest gift was born outside the big city, far away from the crowds and distractions. Quiet. This season is not so quiet for many of us. The endless preparations, the busyness and stress of it all is rarely peaceful and still. Just the other day, I heard somebody complain about Christmas time. "I feel like I don't even have time to think," she said. So this is what Christmas has become, a time to not think. But all the shopping and the walking and the ordering and the purchasing and the returning and exchanging and all the malls and the shops and the .coms and the traveling and all the preparation, that's really not Christmas. That is the middle, leading up to. Christmas morning is coming, not very long from now. And that's when it's easiest to recognize Jesus, to hear him in the quiet. Will you promise me 1 minute of quiet sometime, maybe when the kids are asleep, maybe when your spouse is asleep, and just in the quiet, listen for him. For Jesus is born for us, in spite of ourselves, born in the quiet of our hearts, where faith grows best. He is present in the middle, in the darkness, but Jesus is the beginning. He is the light of the world and the light of life. And I want to leave you with an image. There's a wonderful scene with a good image of the divine light from a movie called It's a Wonderful Life. And it's an old black and white movie with a good message about appreciating your blessings and family and friends and love and generosity. And if you haven't seen it, rent it on Amazon sometime. It'll make you feel like the richest man in town. George Bailey is smooth-talking this pretty hometown girl named Mary. They're walking down the neighborhood street under this romantic moonlit sky, talking about their wishes and their dreams, and they have their whole lives ahead of them. And they stop and they stare into each other's eyes, and George asks Mary, "What is it that you want? What do you want?" A question God often asks us. And George makes her an offer, just like God makes us an offer. George directs her attention upwards and says, "Do you want the moon, Mary? Do you want the moon? If you want, I'll lasso the moon and pull it down here and I'll give it to you." And Mary asks, "Then what?" Mary's not the brightest bulb on the Christmas tree. George answers, "Well, I'll give it to you and then you can swallow it. And it'll dissolve and it'll fill you and its light will shoot out of your eyes and out of your ears and out of your toes and through the ends of your hair." Mary says, "I'll take it." That is Christmas. That is God becoming a baby in a world that we've made dark. That's Jesus, the light of the world, teaching us about glory and spirit and reaching for the stars, because that's what heaven is for. Jesus has lassoed the universe and all of eternity and given it to us. He gives us light and direction and purpose and hope and heart. That is the offer. That is the idea. That is the saving message, sleeping in a manger. George gave Mary the moon, but God gave us the Son, His Son, who came to be like us so we could become like Him. Merry Christmas.